This activity is called electron escape. The focus of this activity is to illustrate ionization energy and goes along with Lesson 9 in your student book. Recall that ionization energy is the amount of energy required to remove valence electrons from atoms. As you describe this concept with your students, you'll find that, or your students will find that the various families of elements on the periodic table have varying amounts of ionization energy. They'll learn that members of the sodium family and the calcium family have very low ionization energy amounts, meaning that they are very willing to give up valence electrons, whereas members of the noble gas family, these inert gases here, have very high ionization energy values. To help illustrate this, in this activity, we'll use balls. There are a couple of ways you can do this activity, and I'll describe both of them here. Then you can determine which might work best with your students in your situation. The first method is that you'll have your students arranged in a circle about you in the playing area, and you yourself will have a ball there here in the center. To begin, what you'll do with your students is you'll hold that ball. Well, you'll tell your students first off that the ball you're holding represents a valence electron. In the first instance, you'll say that you'll hold the ball extremely tightly and then ask them to attempt to remove the ball from you. And so I've done this before with students, and if your students are the physical nature and willing to get a little rough and tumble with you, this works well. So I take a ball, it's usually a soft sort of ball, like a Nerf ball or a ball that you can grasp really, and hold it extremely tight to you. In fact, if you have a carpeted area or a soft area that you're working on, get down on the floor and just roll myself up in a ball around that ball and attempt to hold it as tightly as I can. And then the students can come up as a group and attempt to get that ball away from you. And you may request that they remove any kind of jewelry or watches or anything like that that might be sharp, because this can become a rather rambunctious sort of activity. And so in the first instance, you'll hold the ball as tightly as you can and with all your might, and resist their efforts to get that valence electron away from you. Eventually, you can let them succeed and then have them refer to their periodic table and tell them that, or you can have them make guesses as to which family or of elements you were illustrating with this first situation, and hopefully they'll understand that you were indeed a member of the noble gas family over here, which require lots and lots and lots of energy to remove valence electrons. Now, in the next instance, again, you'll have the ball in the center of your circle of students, and in this case, you may want to kind of prepare them that you may or may not be a noble gas family member on this round. And so you'll say, "Are you ready?" And they'll say they're ready. And then what you'll do with all your might, you'll just take that ball you have and just throw it out of the circle, just all the force you can. And if it's if it's a soft, sort of ball, there's no problem with, kind of aiming it towards a student, just to let them know that the atom that you're representing this time is an atom that can't wait to get rid of its valence electron. It's a super reactive element, and it just zooms away from you, and then that makes you a much more stable atom there. And so most times your students will be quite surprised that you'll just have taken that ball and just tossed it right at one of them. And it's an excellent illustration of this concept of ionization energy. Now, if you like, in this same version of the game, you can take turns. You can move yourself out to the circle, and then another student may come in, and if they can choose whether they want to be a noble gas family member, they may need to identify themselves, or they may just let it be a surprise as to what they want to do, and then the other students have to guess which family of elements that they are illustrating there. Now, the second way you can play this game, if you have a group of students which may not want to get down on the floor and wrestle with you over a ball, is to give each student a ball, and you may want to assign this previous week if you don't have extra balls around your house, is to have them bring a ball from home. And we have some examples of soccer ball or just rubber balls, volleyball. You want to avoid any sort of baseball. You don't, if you're playing inside or even outside, you don't want any sort of a ball that might injure someone when it gets tossed. So all your students then will have a ball, and then as the leader in the center, what you'll do then is call out an element name, and the two families of elements that show this trend the best, as we've already kind of alluded to, is the sodium family over here, or calcium family, which have low ionization energy values, and then the noble gas family over here. So what you'll do is you'll call out just a random element name from one of those three families, and then depending upon which element you call determines what the students will do with their balls. If you call out a noble gas family member, they'll just clutch them and hold them really tight. And then if you call out a member of the sodium family, they all throw their balls, and you might just have them throw them up in the air, or throw them at each other if they're soft, safe balls, or you could have them throw them at you if you'd like. It's just kind of a fun activity to play, and then you can speed up how fast you call out these elements, and then that just makes it just a lot more exciting and fun. So this game was called Electron Escape. It's designed to illustrate ionization energy. The focus is on these three families of elements, and we hope you have a very fun time playing this game with your students.